You certainly already know Slovnaft. It's not just a refinery in Bratislava, but also 208 petrol stations around Slovakia. The petrol stations are equipped with the most up-to-date technologies, thanks to which they are safe and eco-friendly. But first, you need to have fuel. This is produced in the Bratislava refinery. Fuels like gasoline, diesel, kerosene are made of crude oil in a process similar to alcohol distillation. Other products, like lubricants, gases, polyethylene and polypropylene, result from this process as well. Do you know them? You must certainly have many things around you made from plastic. They originate from these last two kinds of oil products. Firstly, you need to import crude oil. For that purpose, we have the Druzhba crude oil pipeline that stretches thousands of kilometers all the way from Russia. It recently celebrated its 50th anniversary. Transpetrol takes care of the hundreds of kilometers of pipeline that run through Slovakia and transport thousands of tons of crude oil daily. The crude oil is first cleaned before the processing can start. The whole process takes place in different columns, under high pressure or in a vacuum. With the help of these different processes, the crude oil changes into the mentioned products and residues. Part of this residue is then used in the company's heating plant. All products travel through the complex between production units through a system of pipes. There are a huge amount of pipes. If they were joined together, they would stretch all the way to the moon and back. The production process generates a variety of different smells and fragrances. It is said that experienced employees can identify which part of the refinery they are in just from the smell. When processing the crude oil, we must also think about ecology. Therefore, Slovnaft has been paying attention to the protection of the environment, and it handles its waste responsibly. In the refinery, water is used in many processes, for example, cooling. As a consequence, it is polluted, and therefore, Slovnaft has built its own wastewater treatment plant. Water is cleaned mechanically, chemically, and biologically. The environment itself is the proof of the fact that returned water is clean and becomes part of the natural cycle. Fish and other aquatic animals live in the last tank, where the water is oxygenated. The refinery, despite its connotations, is a place full of nature. It was originally an orchard, and therefore a team of gardeners still works there. Slovnaft also thinks about the future. For this reason, it follows the principles of sustainable development. For several years, together with the Ecopolis Foundation, we have run a grant program called Green Oasis. Thanks to this program, dozens of parks, nature trails, and green gardens spring up in Slovakia every year. Slovnaft has taken the initiative in an ecological project, Every Drop of Oil Counts, in which we collect leftover cooking oil for recycling. A bioconstituent of diesel oil is then produced from this cooking oil. The Slovnaft refinery is one of the most modern in Europe. Thanks to this, it is part of the MOL Group, the leading regional independent oil and gas company. However, Slovnaft had to come a long way before joining MOL Group. The first refinery in Bratislava was established in then Pressburg in 1895. Its name was Apollo, the same name as the bridge that currently stands on the former site of the refinery. Unfortunately, the refinery was completely bombed during the Second World War. Today there is a place in the refinery which could survive such a bombing, the control room, which must operate 24/7. Since the 1950s, the refinery stands in a new place that has been constantly growing. Today it covers 500 hectares. Every day there are 3,300 workers, 80 rabbits, dozens of cats, and a beaver. For sure, many of them love sports. Slovnaft is known as a long-term supporter of the most popular sports. The best Slovak football teams play for the Slovnaft Cup, and the best Slovak hockey teams in the Slovnaft playoffs. Sometimes these matches take place in the Slovnaft Arena, the biggest hockey stadium in Slovakia. But Slovnaft doesn't provide energy only to football and hockey. It also supports our biker Stefan Svitko, who has participated in the well-known Rally Dakar, during which he covered thousands of kilometers in a few days. But even the employees of Slovnaft do a lot of traveling, on bikes or by bus. The refinery owns its own public transportation system. The products are transported from the refinery by barges on the Danube River, in tanks on the highways and railways, or in the pipeline. It is a pipe similar to the oil pipeline, but instead of oil, fuels are transported. More than 75% of the products made in Slovnaft are produced for export. Slovnaft also supports many other areas besides sports: culture, art, science, and education. With the Central European Foundation, Slovnaft organizes a grant program, Talents of New Europe, through which it supports young and talented sportsmen, artists, and scientists. Directly on the premises of the historic refinery, the reconstructed industry building, a new cultural area, the Refinery Gallery, has been opened. Slovnaft also supports the folk group Lučnica, which spreads the good name of Slovak culture around the world. You don't need to travel to the end of the world to find our Slovak culture. Thanks to Slovnaft, students from various parts of Slovakia can see theater performances in bigger cities. So next time you see the Slovnaft logo, you will know that there is far more to it than just a refinery and network of petrol stations. Slovnaft is a modern company with values which it actively supports.